And on that last note from Leland regarding the second special counsel, count former oversight chairman Jason Chaffetz among those expressing skepticism about the U.S. attorney appointed to look into alleged FBI bias. You saw him right here last night.
I think it's unfair and inappropriate for the Attorney General and Rod Rosenstein to ask him and put him in a position where he essentially has to investigate his boss. And I don't think you'll ultimately be able to get to the truth.
Joining me now, Chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, who has called for a second special counsel, Congressman Bob Goodlatte. Great to have you with us, Mr. Chairman.
Good to be with you, Shannon.
Okay, so there's been mixed reaction to this decision by the Attorney General to appoint someone that seems to be well respected across the board and has been investigating for months, from what we understand, but is not a second special counsel. Here's what Kim Strassel said in the Wall Street Journal, her tweet. She says, special counsels are bad news. She says, see every recent headline. And AG Sessions is right to stick to principle and not appoint a second one. Huber has all the same powers, even as he remains under DOJ authority, combined with more Sessions pressure for disclosure, and this is best scenario. Where is that not good enough for you?
I think we need a second special counsel because Jason Chaffetz is right. We're basically asking a United States attorney to investigate the people that he reports to, particularly the Deputy Attorney General of the United States. But we've made it very clear, Trey Gowdy and I, in the statement we put out yesterday, that we expect Mr. Huber to report directly to Attorney General Sessions. And I think the Attorney General has taken a step in the right direction in appointing Mr. Huber to do this. It gets the matter outside of main justice, outside of Washington, D.C. It leaves the door open for a special counsel. And I think that it turns it over to a situation where a prosecutor can start to prosecute folks. So I think it's a step in the right direction, but I think ultimately we're going to need a special counsel.
Well, and the Attorney General said, pointing to the regulations from 1999 dealing with special counsel, he said it's only happened twice since then because you have to have such extenuating circumstances. Your colleagues, Congressman Meadows and Jordan, argued last night that's what this is. What do you think it would take for the Attorney General to say, okay, it is time for a special counsel?
I think that if it became very apparent that there were a number of indictments, or if there were criticisms that Mr. Huber was not aggressively investigating this, or that the FBI continued to slow walk the information that we have requested and now subpoenaed from the Department of Justice. That subpoena is due next Thursday. I'm also pleased that the Attorney General is now taking that very seriously as well, and I know the Director of the FBI is as well. He announced earlier this week he now has 54 employees working to get those documents, 1.2 million documents that we've requested that the Inspector General has, that the Congress also needs to have. We need to have them now. We need to have them unredacted so that we can see what they're talking about when these exchanges take place. We've already seen several examples where they redacted material, and when we got to see the unredacted portions, we saw that they were covering up material information, like the communication between Peter Strzok and Lisa Page about a federal judge going on the FISA court, and they redacted that. They didn't think we needed to know that. That's very material to our investigation. What
outstanding questions do you have right now? Questions you think that the American people deserve to have answered that you hope maybe will come through in these documents or through U.S. Attorney Huber or eventually a second special counsel? What do you think is missing?
And the first thing will be the report of the Inspector General, which we are looking forward to, and we hope to see that within a month. And I think it's going to show that there was extreme bias in the Department of Justice, the world's premier law enforcement organization, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, where tens of thousands of people every day work hard to keep us safe, fight crime, prevent terrorist attacks like the bombing attack last week in Austin, and yet several people near the top of this organization engaged in activities in handling one investigation involving one presidential candidate extremely differently, bending over backwards to not find reasons to take action with regard to Hillary Clinton or her employees. And on the other hand, having insurance policies and secret plans to take action in another area. We have a special counsel investigating that. I think that should move forward. but there needs to be an investigation into the Federal Bureau of Investigation and how they handle all this, because we don't want to have this happen again in 2020. And the American people's trust is not there that it won't happen again unless there's a real house cleaning, which is starting to happen.
Well, and we'll await that Inspector General report, we think April. So we'll wait along with you. You'll probably see it before we do. But Chairman, great to have you with us. Great to have you with us tonight. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Shannon. You too.